everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing my July TBR and I've decided to bring back my Scrabble TBR game for this month. I haven't done it in possibly well over a year plus, but I'm ready to have another go, and this time it is Scrabble and Final Book Support Group because Steph from Steph Loves is doing a week-long version of her readathon. And I do have some books that I want to finish in series or continue with series, and that's the whole point of that readathon. So that is running from the 22nd to the 28th of July. So I will put up a graphic of the bingo board at the end of this video and tell you the kind of ideas I'm having for which books I want to read. But first I thought I would pick out my 6 Scrabble tiles, and then I will have a look which books I'm going to pick in relation to that. So if I can find, yeah, there it is. Here is my little holder, and I will show you which letters I get. So I hope it's kind. Let's see. So I've got O. So the plan is to read books with where the book starts with this letter. So O should be interesting. R. A. 3 more. Oh, again. Maybe I need to come up with some punishment if you get multiples. Oh my goodness, I'm not doing it this time because I've just got another O. I don't even know if I've got many with O's. So I said I hope it's kind. And G. So no blank ones this time, which normally means I can pick any book I want. But I'm going to go now, have a look on my shelves, have a look on my Kindle, have a look on Audible, and I will come back to you with my 6 books. So I think I've done it. So as you can see, just to show you, they were the letters O, R, A, O, O, G. What I have decided to do, as I've picked 3 out, is to add an extra book. I was between 2 for R, so I've picked those 2, and so that's why I'm reading an extra one. So for the first O, I have picked Only Children, 3 hilarious short stories by David Baddiel. I picked this up at the library the other day. I thought it sounded really interesting. I'm assuming the children in it are only children, and I hope that's the case because Sophie's an only child. However, it could be that it only talks about children, but then again there looks to be a grandpa there maybe. Here are the only children you'll meet inside. So I think so. So it says, meet Alfie, the boy who could do what he liked, discover Chrissy, the girl who had never been on a train, and marvel at Ariel, the child who had never been on holiday. 3 hilarious, heartwarming and adventure-filled short stories that will have you laughing out loud. So what I liked about it was when I looked into it, the boy who could do what he liked is a boy who has absolute routine in his life. So maybe some autism there. So that kind of was that one. The second one, if I can find it, the girl who had never been on a train. She's obsessed with trains. And then the third one, if I can find it, the child who had never been on holiday. It doesn't really say about that, but I did think there was neurodivergent representation there, and so I really wanted to read that. I'm not a massive fan of reading books by famous authors just because, but I'm not a massive fan of David Baddiel. He's not really on my radar. I haven't watched lots of his things, so it was more the actual stories and when I'd read inside the book rather than because it's him. So that's my first one for O. Then I had R, and this is where I've added an extra book because I had 2 to pick from. So there was Rock and Rose by Susan Holder. It says a ticket to Memphis could be the start of a whole new life. In the summer of 1960, 18-year-old Rose Featherstone took a trip to Memphis that changed her life. Now Rose confesses to her granddaughter Daisy that she returned home with more than just memories all those years ago. She was carrying Elvis Presley's child. I'm not an Elvis fan. I was bought this for my birthday. And so I won't be reading it as an Elvis fan, but I do think that sounds interesting. So that's the first one for R. And then the second one is Return to Half Moon Farm by Holly Hepburn. I was kindly gifted this from Simon & Schuster. It says, when Daisy's mother falls ill, she is forced to return home. With her twin sons in tow, she moves back to Half Moon Farm, her family's ancient hop farm. But a new life in the Kent countryside isn't necessarily as idyllic as it might seem. Daisy's relationship with her mother is complicated, and the tumble-down farm isn't the only thing that needs rebuilding. Daisy and her sons must adjust to life with their strange family, a leaking roof and no Wi-Fi. Luckily for Daisy, she might yet find some distraction in Silver Fox farmer Drew, or in the haughty heir to the nearby estate Kit, who she can't seem to avoid. Maybe a love triangle? So that's for R. Then for A, I've decided to go for All the Lonely People by Mike Gale. I've always had a lovely time with his books, and I planned to read all of his back catalogue and kind of just stalled, but this one's been on my Kindle for a long time, so this is the time that I'm going to read it. It's about an old gentleman who kind of lies to his daughter and said he's got this really full life of activities, and then she says she's coming to visit him and he has to kind of make this life become a reality, so I'm excited about that. Then I got another O, and I've decided to listen to, because I've got the audiobook of One to Watch by Kate Stayman London. This is about a girl who kind of criticises reality TV shows because they don't really ever have plus size women in them, and then one gets in touch with her and says, will you come on? So I'm intrigued to see how that goes, but again, that's been sat on my Audible for a long time, so I am pleased that I've managed to get one off my Kindle and one off my Audible if I end up listening and reading, but that is the plan of the TBR. Then for the other O, I've got Once Upon a Crime by Robin Stevens. I read the first one, Murder Most Unladylike, for years ago for Middle Grade Monthly with JD Ray Reeves and Gav. And so I want to, this is like a short story one, it goes through quite a few of the crimes, so this is a good way to get back into it. I don't think you have to have read any of the others to start on this one, so I'm excited for that. Then for G, I am going for Give by Magnus MacFarlane Barrow. This is always on my Eurovision-a-thon TBR. I got it in a sale in Waterstones a long time ago. It's talking about charity all over the world, and I like the idea of it. I did start it and get quite a way through with my lovely Hocus Pocus bookmark, but then just stalled, and so I'm going to start it again and I'm going to read it again. But there's a lot of countries mentioned in it, but I've got a lot of Eurovision-a-thon books now waiting for next year, so it'll be good to get one off. And it's, I think, pretty sure it's the only book with a G that I've got. So there you go. So yeah, there's 7 there that I'm going to be doing. And then for the other part of my TBR, like I said, I'm going to be taking part in the final book support group. I will put the graphic up here, but the bingo board has a special edition self-care, which I'm assuming just means take part in any kind of self-care for yourself, a TBR vet, what does it say, find a book? I'm not sure about find a book. But then again, oh no, final book. You're reading the final. It's my writing. Final book. So you're reading the final book in a series. Take part in a sprint, which will be easy to do. Either graphic novel, manga, or novella. Continuation stations, so just a continuation in one you've already been reading. A poll pick, and then share TBR on your socials. So I'm not necessarily going to try for a bingo. I'm just going to try for as many books within that bingo board that I can. So I've pulled off some sequels that I want to get to. There are 5 that I want to talk about altogether, and obviously because it's only a week, I might only get through 2, maybe 3 at the most, but at least I've got options, and that does tend to work best for me. So the first one is The Minders by John Mars. I know his books are standalones, but there are some of them that take part in the same world, and so there is an order to them. It suggests those ones that you read in publication order. I'm not reading in publication order, I'm reading out of order because I didn't realise they were all in the same world. This one's been on my shelf for a while. I've read the one, I have read The Passengers. I have read The Marriage Act. This one is in that series, but earlier on. And then there's the final one to read is The Family Experiment, which I've got on hold at my library, but I'm 7th in the list, so I'm probably not going to get it in time to read it for this part of the readathon. But this one says, in the 21st century, information is king, but computers can be hacked and files can be broken into. So a unique government initiative has been born. 5 ordinary people have been selected to become minders, the latest attempt to thwart cyber terrorism. Transformed by a revolutionary medical procedure, the country's most classified information has been taken offline, turned into genetic code and implanted inside their heads. Together, the 5 know every secret, the truth behind every government lie, conspiracy theory and cover-up. In return, they're given the chance to leave their problems behind and a blank slate to start their lives anew. But not everyone should be trusted, especially when they each have their secrets of their own they'll do anything to protect. So that is one I'm considering. Like I said, not really a series, but kind of, because it's in the same world. So more like a companion novel. Then I've been doing a reread of the Sisterhood of the Travelling Pants series. I've read the first one. I want to read the second one, so I'm going to read the second summer. I'm not going to say too much about this. I think it's kind of well known, this Sam Brasher's series, but I really love the films as well. So yeah, I'm going to continue with my reread. So yeah, that's the second in the series. That'd fit quite well. I am making my way through the Rainbow Greys series, Eye of the Storm, Laura Ellen Anderson. This was a series that I started. I think I read the first one with Sophie, but then after that she didn't want to read any others, so I had already bought the next one. Look at the orange sprayed edges. So yeah, I won't read the back because obviously it might have spoilers, but basically she's lives among weatherlings, and they're all in charge of different weather types, and yeah, it's a lovely series, and so I want to carry on with that and finish that. I don't know if that's the last one. I think there might be more. Then I have read the first 2 in this series by Jeffrey Archer. It's the William Warwick Detective Inspector series. The first one I read ages ago, then recently I read the second one, and then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to carry on. So this one's called Turn a Blind Eye. So I hope to read that one. And then the other one I was thinking about is a novella. I have read all of the Shatter Me series and the novellas in between. The last novella is Believe Me. These are by Tahira Mafi. And so that's the last to complete the whole set. I wasn't going to, I'd kind of changed my mind about it, but I'm thinking for this readathon that might be quite good. I would imagine it's quite swift, and so I need to see if I can get a copy of it cheaply or easily, and then I will try and read that. So there are, let's see, how many is that altogether? 7 from the Scrabble part, and 5 from the Final Book Support group. So what's that, 12? I don't think I'll read 12 in the month. I have done it before, and this year as well, but just with everything going on, I'm not sure I will, but we will see. I'll see if I can hold these up as part of it. Obviously I've got the ones that are on Kindle and audio. This is going to be a mess. Are you ready? Oh. Let's see if I can hold them all up. There you go. So all of those, and then the one on my Kindle and on Audible. So I will see how I get on. Again, I will try and do a wrap up of, I might do June and July together. April and May worked well together, so maybe June and July. So I will see you next time.